rammed the man against it with such force that his skull shattered. He heard the soggy thud like a dropped gourd. Rapid footsteps sounded as Breckenridge let go of the man and stepped back, turning to meet the new threat. "Get him," a harsh voice grated. "Kill the son of a bitch." That was plenty to tell Breckenridge his hunch was right. He didn't have to hold back, which was good since he'd already killed a man. He drew both pistols from behind his belt. The weapons were loaded and primed, so all Breck had to do was loop his thumbs around the hammers and pull them back. Then he squeezed the triggers, and twin deafening booms filled the street as the guns went off. Flame shot nearly a foot from the muzzle of each pistol. In that split-second glare, Breckenridge saw one of the heavy lead balls from the right-hand gun tear into the throat of a man charging him. The pistols were double-shotted. The second ball punched into the man's chest. His momentum carried him forward as blood spurted from both wounds. Breckenridge had aimed at the sound of footsteps, and his accuracy with the left-hand pistol wasn't quite as good. One of the balls missed entirely and skipped off down the street. The other struck the man in the right shoulder, shredding flesh and smashing bone. The impact twisted him halfway around and caused him to stumble. He crashed to the street, hurt badly enough that Breck knew he was out of the fight. In a matter of a dozen heartbeats, 3 of the 4 men who had intended to rob and kill him were down and no longer a threat. That left only one man, who had been slightly behind the 2 Breckenridge had just shot. Most thieves would have turned and run, since the odds were no longer on their side. But not this one. He let out a furious yell as he continued his charge. Breckenridge saw a glint of light reflect off a blade as it sliced through the air at his face. He flung up his left hand. The empty pistol it held clashed with the knife. Metal rang against metal. Breck took a quick step back, knowing the attacker would try to catch him on the backswing. For a split second, the man was silhouetted against the patch of light Breck had walked through a minute earlier. The bastard didn't have a knife, Breckenridge realized during that glimpse. He had a damn sword. Probably a former soldier, an officer judging by the fact he had a saber. Or maybe just a thief who'd taken the weapon off the body of some victim. That was the more likely explanation. Either way, Breckenridge had to keep retreating as the varmint lunged at him, whipping the long, slightly curved blade back and forth. Then Breckenridge's foot came down on the barrel of the rifle he had dropped. That was enough to throw him off balance. He tried to right himself, but the rough cobblestones tripped him, and he fell over backward. The attacker leaped in to take advantage of Breckenridge's bad luck. The saber swung high and then flashed down. Breck still had hold of both pistols. He crossed the barrels and shoved them up. The V formed by the pistols caught the saber and stopped it with its edge scant inches from Breck's face. Breckenridge swung his right leg high in a kick aimed at the man's groin. It missed, but the toe of his boot sunk into the attacker's belly instead, which was almost as effective. The breath woofed out of the man's lungs as he doubled over. Breck lashed out with his left leg and swept the man's feet from under him. The thief tumbled to the ground. Breckenridge dropped the empty pistols and yanked his knife from its sheath. He rolled onto his side, powered halfway up, and leaped at the other man, who seemed momentarily stunned. The varmint managed to angle the saber around in a protective arc. In the poor light, Breckenridge caught sight of it just in time to twist aside. The blade raked across the top of his left shoulder, but cut only the buckskin without slicing into the flesh beneath. Breck hooked his knife toward the man's midsection, aiming to rip his guts open.